Namaskaram, everyone. In the previous narration, we saw how Devahuti approaches Kapila, her son, and seeks him to teach her the Brahmavidya, which will get rid of the avidya and the ignorance which is the cause of the pain in the world. She approaches her son, asking how this body, which is made up of 5 elements, continuously is caught in the samsara of I and mine and is susceptible to the several emotions like love and hatred, and how the veil of ignorance has been drawn across the Atman by the Lord and his Maya. She seeks him to remove it and teach her the path of mukti or salvation. Kapila, in the process of enlightening his mother, Devahuti, gives the world the greatest knowledge of Sankhya, the very purpose of his incarnation. He says, Mother, it is the mind which is the cause of bondage as well as freedom. When it gets involved in the 3 gunas and there is an upset in the balance of the 3 gunas and one of these become predominant, the Atman, the pure self, gets involved in the play of the emotions. And then the mind turns away from the inner self and becomes interested in the objects of the senses. It seeks gratification, and these indriyas make one wander further and farther away from the Atman. He also instructed how, when it is turned inwards, if it attaches itself to the Purusha, to Lord Narayana, to the Ishvara, then that same mind becomes the cause of freedom from the coils of the senses. The Rajasic mind constantly involves the man to seek something externally and never allows him to sit idle. The Tamasic mind simply indulges in the senses and never rises above it, unless the Sattvic mind, by clarity and through Chitta Samyama, rises above the qualities of the Kshatrapus, the Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, and thus turns to the Lord by constantly contemplating and listening to His names, His glories, and most importantly, through the Sat-sanga of the wise, the Sadhus, the Jnanis, the Yogis. He highlights to her that to such a person, the pleasures of the world and the pains will not affect anymore. When it is equipped with vairagya, detachment, with bhakti, which is devotion to me, Lord, and with jnana, which is the knowledge of truth about me, then the mind is able to perceive the Brahman. And he goes on to tell her how bhakti is the easiest and surest path to reach him. There is no other path which grants one freedom as quickly as the path of devotion, says the Lord himself. The wise say the Sangha, the attachment, is one imperishable quality which is inherent to man. And therefore, since it is imperishable, without any possibility of getting destroyed, attachment always tends to be there. But if this attachment is changed and the object of desire becomes the Lord Himself, then one may keep the attachment as it is, but simply change or direct one's attention and attachment and make the object different. And in place of the sense objects, one substitutes Narayana himself. Attachment to Narayana makes the ties to other things snap, and that way is easy. This process of transferring the attachment from the lower to the higher is naturally a gradual process, but not impossible. The mind will refuse to cooperate, but the ultimate aim should be to be called a mukta sangha, says Kapila. The best method of schooling the mind to follow this path of becoming a mukta sangha, to be free from attachment, is to have the companies of Sat-sanga, Sadhu sanga, says Narayana in the form of Kapila. When the mind becomes attached to the companies of sadhus, it will abandon the earlier attractions, and the next step is made easy. So very easily, even if one is unable to practice bhakti, one must practice being in the Sangha of the wise, of the elevated, of the enlightened, of the sadhus. He goes on to tell her how one can recognize who a true sadhu or a wise being is. What are their characteristics? He continues to say that the sufferings, the ills and pains that a body is generally subjected to do not affect the sadhus. They are full of compassion for all men. All living beings to them are their kinsmen. They love all beings. Naturally, they have no enemies. They are always at peace with themselves. Their minds are clear and tranquil without agitation, and they never swerve from the path of righteousness or dharma. Their acts and words are meant for the well-being of people around. Their conduct is ever flawless. Their thoughts flow only towards the Lord, and they have no other duties or obligations or relations, no other claims on their affections or thoughts. These wise beings are only interested in stories about the Lord, and they are happy when they relate these stories to others. Sat-sangatve nissangatvam, nissangatve nirmohatvam, nirmohatvam nischalatatvam, nischalatatvam jivan muktihi, says Adi Shankara in Bhaja Govindam. So also, Kapila tells his mother that the troubles of the world are no troubles for these great beings because they refuse to be affected by them, being free from attachment, and such people are the real sadhus. He asks his mother to pray and become attached to these people. Constant company of the sadhus makes one familiar with the stories of the Lord, the stories which please the ear and which gladden the heart. The pleasure in these stories, when one hears it, leads to a constant interest in knowing the Lord, and this interest itself is the final enjoyment, meaning you will enjoy thinking of the Lord and only of the Divine. This enjoyment over time becomes bhakti, devotion. Sat-sanga leads to shraddha, that is, to rati, and rati to bhakti. Rati means a certain indulgence in the Lord's name, kirtana, dhyana. Because of the bhakti, the mind becomes slowly, gradually, but surely disgusted with the sense objects. The things of the world which were once attractive are no longer so. The pleasures which once were enjoyed by the senses and the body cease to please us. The mind becomes keen on discovering methods by which it can be constantly focused on the Lord. The emancipated man tries earnestly for salvation, and he has no taste for the snare which nature casts about him, and his intellect becomes sharp and keen. Surrendering himself completely to me, he becomes one with me even in this bondage-ridden birth, says Kapila to his mother. And therefore, he advises her to take up Bhakti Yoga. He continues to say, whether it be the senses which are involved in the world of objects, whether it be the mind which is involved in the daily duties and actions dictated by the Vedas, the only path which will free both of these from the Karma Kanda and the Karma Yoga will be when they are engaged in a sincere and spontaneous desire for the attainment of salvation. And this desire will be granted by effortless devotion of Narayana. The devotion will burn away the bondage of karma and the bondage created by the senses, like the fire in the body burns up the food which is eaten. Bhakti will not only grant oneness with the Lord, but will also free the being from the world of objects. Mukti or release will follow as a matter of course when you become a pilgrim in the path of bhakti. He continued to say how the sadhus who think only of serving him are only attached to him and who perform actions to only please him, who talk nothing but his glories. Such people, such great beings, do not even ask for salvation, but I grant them mukti. Narayana continued to say how his bhaktas will never be destroyed. The wheel of time, which is a formidable weapon, is powerless as they are concerned, since they have become one with me. I am everything to the bhakta. I am dear to him as a son is. I am his friend, I am his bandhu, his sakha, his instructor, his well-wisher, his beloved. And such bhaktas of mine have no fear, since everything in the universe is under my sway. It is in fear of me that the wind blows, that the sun shines, and the rains pour from the heaven. And so Kapila continued to give his mother the final course of Atmavidya. O mother, I will now tell you the secret about the Purusha and about how he has pervaded the universe. This yoga is again Atmavidya, by mastering which you will reach salvation. All one's doubts will vanish on their own accord once this yoga is understood. The Atman in you is the Purusha. He has no beginning and no end. He is self-luminant, and there is nothing which is not the Purusha, which is different from the Purusha. He pervades everything. He is eternal. Prakriti, however, is the cause of the conditioning of the Atman. Purusha is eternal, as I said before, and he is that which pervades the world of plurality. He is beyond the three gunas. How then can one reconcile the two aspects of Purusha? One is pure and the other is world of plurality. How did the Purusha, who is beyond the reach of the gunas and beyond Prakriti, how did he become involved in this apparent process of births and deaths? It is not a puzzle to the wise, to the jnani, to the yogi. Prakriti is made up of two powerful ingredients, Avarana Shakti and Vikshepa Shakti. When the three gunas are so well balanced, there is a perfect equilibrium, then we have what is called as the nirguna state or the guna-lessness. Time is again another form of the Purusha. When time moves on, the gunas are suddenly found to have lost their equilibrium. It gets upset, and one of the three gunas, the rajas, manifests itself. After that, the other two. When the gunas thus come into action, the avarana and the vikshepa also come onto their own. Purusha now assumes two forms, the jiva and the ishvara. Jiva is the aspect of the Purusha which becomes involved in the play of the gunas. Avarana makes the Jivatma forget himself, forget his true nature, and this state of the Purusha is called avidya. Ignorance of the truth about himself. Along with avidya, vikshepa also comes into force. Vikshepa causes the agitation. It is considered to be the maya, the illusion which makes one think that the unreal is the real. These two, the avarana and the vikshepa, together cause avidya and maya. When the jivatma gets involved in this, it forgets its true nature. It identifies itself with the world of plurality and gets involved more and more deeply. The other aspect of the Purusha which goes by the name Ishvara is the one who does not get deluded by the two powerful forces of Prakriti. For one to be free of this Maya and reach the state where the forces of Prakriti do not capture the Jiva, one path is enough, Bhakti Yoga. Mother, think of the Lord all the time. Bhakti will, on its own accord, grant you jnana and vairagya. You do not have to seek them. Love for the Lord Narayana will make you indifferent to others' loves, and so non-attachment is achieved. Bhakti will show you the way to the feet of Narayana. When a bhakta realizes that the only aim in his life is to reach Narayana and strives for it, that means that he has learnt the truth and his avidya has vanished. He knows that Narayana is the only truth and nothing else. It is the Brahman or the Purusha or the Ishvara or the Bhagavan according to the different yogas which seek him. It is this which is revealed in all the manifestations in the world of plurality. The one who realizes this is the Brahman himself. Realizing the Brahman is not a knowing but a becoming. You will know that you are the Brahman. The Jiva will know that he is the Ishvara, the Purusha. The Jnana Yoga taught by me and the Bhakti Yoga on which I elaborated earlier are in reality the same. One is not different from the other. Mother, I have taught you the different pathways of approach. You can rest assured that any one of the paths, when followed earnestly, will help attain salvation. Hari Om.